So here's the ball joint here, and yeah, it was just shot. You shouldn't be able to wiggle it around like that. So, all right, back on the 60 Pontiac. Where last thing we did was change that one freeze plug that was leaking, and now I got to get rid of that dirty antifreeze. So back on the spindles here, I got the thing cleaned up the best I could. Again, this is going to be a daily driver. The interior and the body is spotless in my opinion, but suspension parts, we just want to make them back in good working condition. I'm not doing a whole restoration, so at this point I'm not going to sandblast everything and repaint it. I have done a few things already, but just not this area. But anyway, the Pontiacs, you know, usually the lower control arms go on the bottom. As you can see here, it won't go in. So don't freak out because it goes this way. And I was not even thinking about that. And I put this up and I was like, uh-oh, I got the wrong ball joints. Why didn't I check that? And then I remembered the Pontiacs go the opposite way. And something else too, when you install these, you can see there's an odd shape to this. The way you install this particular ball joint, in several of them from the GM era, is you can change, if you do this wrong, you can change the camber. And for best handling, you want the camber, the bottom of the tire, to be sticking out as much as you can, even on these wide track Pontiacs. So that goes this way. See this little arrow? That arrow points out. And if you do it this way, you'll actually notice that the round part is not fitting in here. So I had these, I had the bolts in here just to set it up and check everything. Now the screws, when you screw in ball joints like this, you always want them to go up and the nuts on the top, because you don't want anything, any interference here. If someone decides to jack up the car in this area, you don't want to screw up the bolts here. So let's get all this in place. Always good to have. Right, now the next thing is to get that spring set up. So the first thing I'm going to do is get my new boot for here, and we'll get the control arm swinging, hanging on there. Let's see, which one of these I forgot. That big ball? No, that's kind of a mess. Ah, here we go. This is perfect. Yep, absolutely perfect. You know, I do have another one in case. Now that should work, I think. Let's take a look here. Yeah, it doesn't go up very high. All right, now the fun part. All right, I kind of just left this where it was before. And let's see, I'm just going to loosen this up just a little bit. Okay, so this has to be up where it is. I can't go any lower because then you'll never be able to get it out. That spring perch area won't allow for it. So you got to get this nudged up into a safe spot, and then we can use the impact wrench to, oh here, let's see. Let's do it the easy way. So this is the area we're going to compress down. Oh yeah, the other issue is you got to keep it centered. Otherwise, when you put it in there, you won't be able to get your impact wrench lined up with it. Not looking forward to this part at all. And we really want this to go up as high as possible. So I'm going to rotate it just a little bit more. Get that hook where I want it. Yeah, right about here. Perfect spot. They say treat it like a loaded gun. You never want to be on either side of this spring. Because if it's going to let loose, it's going to go one of those two directions, I think. That's more than enough, I believe. Now, so let's get this thing into the shock tower and get the jack under it. I got that. Come on. Nope, not quite. Where is the... This is a real deep tower in here. Imagine doing this out on the road. I don't even know. Come on. There we go, a little bit more. These rubber bushings are in good shape because they're holding this whole thing back. All right, hang on. Let me try to. I'm sitting on this cart that's moving all over. And there's, let's see, where's the dimple? It's got to be at this position, about right here. Ah, maybe I should get off of this thing. I don't know if it's centered up in here or not. Let me try to push this thing. There we go. I think I got it. Maybe. Look at that. Should have done it that way in the first place. Well, let's try that, see what happens. Whew. Man, this is not going to be easy. Well, I got the car up just a little bit more, and let's see if we can get it up this time. I don't know. I don't know. Doesn't look good. Nope, it's not gonna work. Hey, did it go in the seat? Hold on, maybe that was a big help. No, it actually slipped. Where's my flashlight? Yeah, it's in there. I'm just trying to make sure. Is that the lip? Yep, it sure is. It went inside the seat. Okay. Woo, man. So now I can reposition this. Let's take our time with it.
Okay, now I can get inside this cup here. There we go. That's what I was trying to do in the first place. Now it may slip, but yeah. But now the jack, that's why you stay out of the way, right? Well, next time I can, it looks like I can compress that spring. Let's see. We can go up to the third one, I think. I don't know. But I'm staying out of the way. You just got to get it up enough just so you can put that spindle back on. Is it picking up the frame? Yeah, it is. I'm off the ground. Let's check the other jack stand. Okay, I'm going to stop right here and then reinforce the other side with another jack stand. Alright, now what you want to do is make sure you're firmly on that the pad, the jack pad, the jack's pad is firmly where you want it to be. And am I up enough? No, it still has a way to go. All right, let's take a look. Let's see if we're getting there. It looks all right. All right, let's see. Oops. I got to move this angle out. I think I'll back up the camera here. If I get some threads on here now. Nothing. Screws got kicked out of the way. Great. Oh, here they are. All right. Let's get the bottom one started. Awesome. Feel a lot better now. I got to get that shock ready on standby. So yeah, getting the car up high enough. That's something I was thinking about that, but oops. Size is this 7/8, 3/4. Okay. Okay, so I got them snug. We'll torque them down in a little bit. Let me just check this one again. Look at that. No more play. All right, now we'll let the jack down, see what happens, and then we'll try to get that shock in there.
and then retorque everything, get the stabilizer. Well, I'm going to wait to put the stabilizer bar until we get the other side done. And then we can grease everything up and start working on the brakes. Okay, let's let this down. The whole idea that I got to do here now is be able to get a wrench on that spring decompressor. So I'm letting it down real slow. But I'm going to reposition the jack with that board. Where is that? Before I get back under there and start fiddling around with stuff. Yes, and I know they make a chain for these, but I don't have anything like that. Like a safety chain or something for the spring. I can actually set this up here on this flange. Now I got the car way up here, so that should be enough. I got the weight of the car on there now. Let's see if we can get in there to that. I don't know what size that is. Oh. It's 3/4. I have that right here. Let's see if we can loosen that up some. Not enough. Maybe I can luck out and knock it out of the way. There we go. Cool. Check that out. So now I can get the, I need an extension. Now I'm looking forward to getting the rest done. Redoing the brake lines under the car and pulling that carb off and stuff like that. That's all easy. This was the part that I've been dreading and not wanting to do. Whoops. Don't need the extension. This got to take all the way off because these, whoops, the hook's in there. Uh-oh, you know what? We could be in trouble here. But the hooks won't come out through that small hole without unraveling them. But now the fork, I gotta decompress this spring just a little bit. But first, I wanna see if this pry bar will do anything. Maybe I can get lucky. Yeah. I think, well, here. Okay, yeah, I think I can knock it loose. Where's my sledge? This is not wise. Make sure those nuts are tight. I let the nuts down just a little bit. What a pain. Jeez, what is going on? Finally. Okay, let's jack this thing back up. I gotta get my foot around this camera here. Just leave that there. Can you see? What a mess. Hey, I'm happy though. I'm getting it done. Right way or wrong way. Okay, now we'll retorque these so don't screw stuff up. Ooh.
to figure out what the torque specs are. All right, I got set a, average. We'll see how these work. I always got the top of the line, but things are getting so expensive. We're just gonna go cheap. There's cheaper shocks, but these were right in the middle. So let's see how they do. And yeah, I just noticed I ordered these just before the rebate begun. So hopefully I'll get a rebate offer over there at Rock Auto. So anyway, back to this. I don't want to leave that spring without some type of a backup anti-gravity device. This car has such a hefty bumper on it, you could probably hit it with a sledge and not even notice. You know what? The darn hardware from the bottom, I forgot where I put that. I hope I didn't throw that away. All right, well, don't worry about that right now. Small side, let's get the lid on there, and they actually put it, this company gives you 2 nuts instead of one of those little wimpy lock nuts. There's 2 hefty nuts on here. Let's just short it up a little bit. It's got like a maximum torque. So that's most of it. Look at that. How's that? We got now we got to do the other side. I'm not looking forward to that. All right, I finished the other side, and that was quite the fiasco. I think this will go smoother. So we're on the driver's side, upper and lower ball joints and spring placement here. But I just want to show you something real quick, a quick tour. Let's look in here. And by the way, I'm going to grease this up before I begin because it's always nice to have some of this stuff loose. That other ball joint was so shot, it was just loose, shaking around in there. But here's something to look forward to. You can see the spark plug boot. And I'm going to just start soaking down these exhaust manifold bolts anyhow. Looks like someone was in here not too long ago. You can see the motor mount down in there. There's 2 of the exhaust bolts, and there's the fuel filter all clogged up. Of course, we got the tank rebuilt, so that's a big plus there. But yeah, you can see the sediment in the bottom of that thing. And I think all the lines on this Pontiac are 3/8. There's the harmonic, but you can barely see it, a harmonic balancer behind the pulleys there. And the water pump, which doesn't look too good. It has seen better days. And these grease zerks were actually loose on here. So hopefully those bushings are okay. They seem like it. This all seems pretty tight here. And the lower ones as well. They got good rubber on them. So let's begin. All right, I'm just gonna put a little bit of grease on this thing because it is dry as a bone. That old stuff, there's always grease compatibility issues. So when you put in the grease, it's probably not the same. You want to get as much of the old out as possible, or do this a little bit more frequently in the beginning. Move the camera down as you get this lower ball joint in. I got these ones off of Rock Auto. No, I got these off of eBay.
There's a lot of real cheap ones, real bad quality. And this seemed to be the better quality. I don't like the ones that have the stamped metal that seals it off. You know, I like the whole formed one. And this grease zerk is one that goes straight up, but on the old ball joint, later on I'm gonna put the right angled one. It's so much easier to grease, and it's better at keeping the elements out. Oh wow, they gave me 2 cotter pins in here because I need one for the upper, I think. So anyway, now so yeah, reminder just to keep this towards the curb so you don't mess up the camera or anything. And so this one goes in just like that. It points down just like the upper one. So if anybody knows why Pontiac designed it that way instead of, you know, other 50s cars at least, and 60s cars that I know, it's so that I can use the spring pressure to push the lower control arm off of here. But anyway, let's get these bolts on here and it said 20 foot-pounds. Yeah, it said, Pontiac book there says, when you replace the ball joints, be sure to use alloy bolts only. They didn't want them over torqued or something. I don't know why that is. Maybe some type of corrosion issue, perhaps. I don't know. The big tough thing about this front end is getting the spring compressor out of the spring on the other side. So I think what I'm going to do is, as soon as I get it in here with the jack, before I torque the 2 nuts down, I'm going to pull that spring compressor out. Oops. By the way, years ago, I was doing some work at my grandma's house. She gave me this knife or something, and I kept it in the toolbox. And this knife is great for getting all the road grime and grease off of everything. Made that job. That was a fiasco yesterday. This stuff was just totally covered. Just real quick. Yeah, 20 foot-pounds, so it doesn't take much. Actually, I want to do it by hand. All right, cool, got that. Now, let's get the spring in here, and then we'll play with these spindles. Let me prepare for that. We'll get the jack and get these cords out of the way. Here's the fun part. You don't go too high on these hooks because it's real tough to get them out, but basically 3 down from the top and 3 up from the bottom is what I found working, what I found that works. All right, let's see if we can get this thing in here. Don't want any extra friction on these dangerous stuff like this, so. Okay, let's take a look at it first. Yeah, we're still centered. Spring compressor looks all right. If we have to, we can use a wrench to get in there. Okay, let's see if that's enough. Before we jack it up, let's put it in position. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Perfect amount of spring compression on here. Oops, let me get this out of the way so you can see.
So yeah, I was able to lift it up and get it up on that perch. That I wasn't able to do before, so let's... Oops. Oh, we gotta go this way, because remember, we always keep an eye on the position of the bottom. So, we gotta go... There it is, right there. Yep. So now, we gotta carefully jack this thing up without breaking anything, which is the real trick. So hopefully I got enough battery. Okay, here is the fun part. Nope, that's not gonna work. I did it before. You know what? I think my jack handle is wrong. If I could just get underneath that lip. Let's try this. The angle of the jack could be better. There's nothing I can do about it right here. Yeah, maybe. Right here. There we go. Now I got it. It's not safe until you hear that pop up there. Which should be any second now. Gonna pop into the seat. Maybe it's in there. Do I dare look? Well, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna keep this jack here, and I'm going to try to sneak a peek. Let me just go up and down. Yeah, I'm gonna go down. I'm gonna relieve some of the pressure. Right there, that's enough. Yeah, we're in the seat. Cool. I was right all along. Okay. Or nothing to worry about. So, let's jack it up and we'll see how far we need to go to get this thing in place. No, I kind of want to pull this out the way it is now because you can get it out. Once I jack this up, that compressor is stuck because the springs are real close together. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm just watching that jack, making sure it's doing what it's supposed to be doing. So it's square on that perch underneath. The hydraulic system would have to fail for that. All right, I'm staying to the side of this whole mechanism. And let's see where we are. Spring compressor is totally compressed. Yeah, we're good right now. Yep, I can get that upper nut on if I can find it. Stupid lesson number one is to have this on there already. I have done enough of these, I ought to know better. Oh, you know what? Duh. We gotta put the boot on there. Alright, found a castle nut in my Corvair stuff bag of parts here. So let's get this thing on here as quickly as we can. Let me see if you can even swing this down. No, not really. Let's see. No, you do have to have it on the bottom one before it'll even reach. Okay, there we go. Got it. So we just need a little bit of threads here. Nope, not quite yet. We need to run that spring compressor up just a little bit more. I mean, tighten the spring up a little bit more, lower control arm. There we go, now I can get it. Thought I had just enough. Oh. Come on. Oops, there goes my paint. Hang on, it should. There we go, got it. All right, get this on there, just a couple threads. Okay, the paint job's okay. Don't have to worry about that. All right, now what I am going to attempt to do, oh no, you know what? Shoot. All right, I'm gonna play with this jack. I'm gonna stay away from the whole deal here. Let's see if I can just, I need to put the pressure on those threads. Let's see where it stops. Okay, I gotta move the board over. The idea is to get that. We got quite a bit of threads. Oh yeah, we got enough threads on there now. So, let me see if I can get that spring compressor out of here right now. You know what, I can do this. I can take, I think I can get it with a wrench. I think that might be 3/4. Oh man, it's already loose, see there? All right, we're good to go. I just gotta find my sledges. There we go, if I can. Ran out of floor. The last 1/4 inch too. Look at that. Okay, so now we can. Darn it. Looks like, there we go, got it. Now to get that shot, or the upper half of the hooks. So you gotta lift it up just enough. Use a screwdriver maybe, or a nut driver. There we go. I gotta lift it up. My fingers can't fit in here. Let me get a bigger screwdriver. Lift it up just enough to get that the shorter side to swing down. That's the secret. That is the secret. All right, here we go. There we go, got it. That is the secret to getting that thing out of there. Now we can tighten up these bolts and then get the shock in there. First things first though is to get the jack back up. Oh man, you know what I did? Oh man. Shoot. Now this isn't gonna be easy. I gotta pull it. I left the boot off. See there? Not paying attention.
Okay, Garmin.
Alright, so now I forgot the boot, so I had to let the top down. Luckily I hadn't torqued anything yet, so that was pretty easy. So 80 foot-pounds top and bottom, and then you put in the cotter key. Well, first I'm going to torque it down, and then we'll do the shock absorber in there. And then lastly we could do the what do you call it? Stabilizer bar.
anti-roll bar, or whatever you want to call it. About right there, I think. And I've played with torque wrenches long enough, I got kind of a rough idea, and I know it's not going to fall off. Then you'll play with it just to get that cotter pin in. That's 50 foot-pounds. That's probably about 80 right there, I think. The other side was a lot tighter, but I didn't put the grease in before I started. So, yeah, that's pretty nice. Pretty impressive there. So next thing I need to, I'm actually worried about that side because it doesn't move like this. Again, I didn't put that grease in until after I set it up. I did notice though okay, forget what I just said here. When I take the weight of the spring off and it's extended, well, it's actually still pretty good there. There's nothing fascinating about putting a shock in. You know, this side they don't have that nice apron here. The staples are here, but at some point in time it got torn off. But anyway, there we go. They say on that shock tower you want to make sure you get as much dirt on it as possible. This is nice because this is one shock that stays in place. I've had other ones that they just spin around, you know. All right, let's see. You know, 1960 was the year that that was the year that Pontiac became number 3 in car sales. And people always talk about John DeLorean, how he had all these problems and what have you. But I did some research years back, his earlier years. You know, he came from Packard, Pontiac. Ed Cole, who developed the Corvair and became president of GM eventually, he hired him, I believe. And by then, John DeLorean had a huge list of accomplishments. I mean, amazing stuff that nobody ever talks about. They talk about, you know, when he became a jerk. Talk about that. So yeah, he did a ton of stuff well before the GTO. So this car right here, this 60 Pontiac, I'm sure has his influences in here somewhere. So if somebody knows that, there's some mechanical developments on this car. He did have a lot to do with the performance angle. So yeah, that 389, that part of the story I haven't heard, this 389 here. So we got this all tidied up, got the shock on. Let me put that locking cap on. And so there it is. It was easier than I thought it would be, getting the spring in there. And if you enjoyed these types of videos, I'd appreciate it if you'd subscribe to us. At least hit the like button, and that will get us up higher in the algorithm. Of course, we've got a lot of plans here, so I think you'll enjoy it. Thanks, and take care.